Okay, so pretty much this is going to be my end-all be-all review for both these monitors slash comparisons between the Samsung and the Microboard. So my first initial videos I did for these monitors, I felt like I didn't do them justice as far as going in depth about each one and their pros and cons and everything. So I'm gonna do that now. So pretty much the first thing I want to talk about is the curve. This is the first time right now I put them kind of side by side. The curve on these monitors seem roughly the same. Like I'm not gonna say by the spec sheet or whatever you want to call it, but just eyeballing it, they look about the same. Maybe the Samsung might be a tad more curved, but it's not something where you go like, wow, that looks a lot more curved. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I think it is. I'm pretty sure it's a little bit more curved. And again, pros and cons to whoever, if you like less curve or more curve, to you. So, again, I like the look of the Microboard a little bit more. I hate the fact that I have to prop it up on the Xbox to get it comparable height to the Samsung. But I wanted to initially do the video with the Samsung with the Microboard on the ground, or on the table. But I couldn't do that because when you set the Microboard all the way down, it automatically kind of tilts up at you. So it's not perfectly straight on anymore. It's like tilted up. So, and I actually did calibrate both monitors to my liking, and we're gonna dive into it and talk about the pros and cons of both.
And comparing both monitors in first-person shooters is something a lot of people are interested in, and I can tell you for the most part, pretty comparable. I mean, again, I've said it before, I think the Microboard is a little bit more smoother than the Samsung. But the color range, there is a slight kind of warmer tint on the Samsung than it is on the Microboard. And that's a preference, but you can go into the settings and make those changes however you see fit to make it warmer or cooler or more neutral. But when it comes to how it feels and just the responsiveness, overall, like I said, very comparable, but just for me, for whatever reason, the Microboard just seems a little bit more smoother. And I will say that, again, my Samsung was actually defective with the line through it, so I can't say that this monitor is running at peak performance. It may be some other things that I'm not seeing or I can't detect. I'm not a professional monitor calibrator or whatnot, so it may be something else to it that's preventing it to be as smooth as it possibly can. So, and I got both these monitors running at their native refresh rate, which is 100 hertz. Neither one of them are overclocked. And just when you play games like Overwatch, you can really see how the colors pop. Like the color palette on Overwatch is very bright and colorful, a lot of explosions and kind of high alpha effects. I would imagine once we get HDR monitors coming out, it's really going to look insane and kind of pop if Overwatch updates to support that. But for the most part, both monitors are really good. I'm putting this comparison video. I mean, I'm sorry, this is the best I can do off, kind of recording off screen. I have my camera kind of just set up about 4 feet back from each monitor. So I'll let you guys watch the gameplay and kind of make your own conclusions about which one you think is better. But for this category, for me, as far as just preferring to play, this is my game of choice right now, is Overwatch. I prefer it on the Microboard. So I'll let you guys check out the rest of this footage for about the next minute or so before we go over to Doom. Okay. All right, and here we have Doom. So this one may not be as good because I was watching the footage back. It doesn't kind of do it justice. It looks kind of washed out. But in person, I will say the Samsung seems to have a little bit better blacks. But that's literally, I had to get about 5 inches from the screen to kind of really see the detail difference. But again, that could just be how they are out of the box, and if you tweak them, get them close to how you want them to be. So right here I'm just showing like kind of like the dark and the highlights, because in the upper part of the map of the board is more dark. You have the bright windows kind of showing a really severe contrast between just dark and light scenes. So, and this is a really beautiful looking scene on both monitors, the way it look. I can't stress this enough. Both monitors look phenomenal. Okay, ultra wide monitors at this resolution, it's really, really, really a sight to see. And so again, this demo that I'm showing, or just gameplay sample, is to just show the motion and how fast the game can move, or excuse me, how fast the monitors can keep up with the game. And it runs great. It runs great on both monitors. Looks amazing on both monitors. And just for out of the box settings, the Samsung, in my opinion, had slightly better blacks. It's almost negligible, but it was noticeable for me that it was a little bit more detailed in the black scenes. But again, tweaking both monitors could probably result in comparable image quality when it comes to dark scenes. So right now, this is the microboard gameplay, and you'll see some of the Samsung gameplay shortly. And we'll cut back, and I think I'm going to do the kind of just overall overclocking and refresh rate checks and all that good stuff on the next part. So enjoy. And here's the Samsung right here. Alright, so here's the audio test between the two monitors. I even put in some standard kind of computer desktop speakers to kind of show they're decent. I think they're Audio Tech Lansings or something like that. So you'll hear those first, then the microboard, then the Samsung.
The world has its healers they're called doctors. Let them deal with it. Guards, take it back to Midgard.
Touch her. See, you're all right.
It's impossible.
The infection, it's defending.
It's defending itself.
Come with me. There are relics that predate the universe itself. What lies within her appears to be one of them. 9 realms are not eternal. And the dawn is the good evidence.
But before that dawn, the dark forces, dark
reigned absolute and unchallenged.
Born of eternal night, the dark elves come to steal away the light. I knew these stories, Mother told them to us as children.
Melita Malekith made a weapon out of that darkness, and it was called the Ether. While the other...
Now here's an example of each monitor playing Forza Horizon 3 off my Xbox One S. And looks really good. This is the microboard. And I was like, whoa, this looks impressive. Even though it's stretched out because it's 21 by 9. And but I'm like, wow, it looks cool. So you're going to see me go through the settings and try to change the monitor to the standard 16 by 9. I couldn't figure out how to do it. I want to say the monitor doesn't have that feature, but it seems so simple that maybe it's something you got to just enable to get it to work properly, but all it has is 4:3 or 21 by 9. So I could not figure that out, okay? So hopefully that's something minor. Now when we're going to go to the Samsung right now, and I thought the microboard looked good, and it did, but once I saw it on the Samsung, oh my goodness, it looks like, I'm not even joking, like 3 times sharper. I would imagine that whatever upscaler they're using in this monitor or whatever's going on, it looks way better on this monitor. Like not a little bit, way better. So when it comes to using it for a external device, like not a computer, like a console or something like that, Samsung hands down. Plus the speakers are better as well. So, and then both of them also have the picture-in-picture mode. I think I'm going to demo that right now for the Samsung. I'm not sure if I am or not. But Samsung is killing it.
Alright, conclusion time. So before I was saying a microboard was like a no-brainer and just the best choice overall. So after spending more time with both monitors and really diving into it, for me overall it still holds true, but there's a lot of features that the Samsung has and qualities that it does that the microboard doesn't have. Biggest one is if you're using this to go with your console or anything other than the PC, you're using, your PlayStation or your Xbox, the Samsung, oh my goodness, it looked way sharper than the microboard, like double. Like it looked more pixelated. I'm not sure if it has a better upscaler or if it's something you can tweak in the settings of the Xbox or the monitor. I dove into it and I couldn't get it any sharper. And not being able to do 16 by 9, again, I even messed with that for a while, thinking that it must be something I'm just not doing. You should be able to enable 16 by 9 for this monitor. The Samsung did it no problem. So when it comes to using it for something other than a PC, such as a PlayStation 4, Wii, whatever, any other external device is not a PC, it kills it, But for regular PC use and gaming, to me, again, the microboard just felt smoother. Now I do have a defective monitor, so I want to do this before I shipped it out. I'm not sure that affect how smooth it feels. I mean, maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. I'm not sure. I'm going to go by the model, the one I have here. But it does have a line going through it. And like I said, I'm shipping it back, but I did want to kind of dive more into the pros and cons of both before I did that. Again, you see I have an Xbox propping up the microboard. Not an issue for me. I was doing that when I used my TVs. But I do wish that it was a little bit higher like the Samsung. And I do wish that the Samsung, when it dropped down, that it didn't tilt up. Like it actually leans back when you put it down. So that's kind of annoying. So I'm not sure, I couldn't use it like that. And the speakers, again, especially if you're using it for external like a console, killing the microboard, like murdering it. Like neither one of them sounded spectacular, but the Samsung is like seriously like a B minus versus the microboard is like a D. So again, speakers, big win for the Samsung. I know a lot of people who uses modular speakers, but if you don't have an option, these are viable. I could actually use these speakers day to day if I had to. The overclocking ability, again, is comparable or negligible. 105 consistent versus 103. Now, when I did this at 103, it seemed like I may have got some frame rate skips. If it was, it's very minimal. So, but it did seem a lot more smooth and responsive when I just had it at 100 hertz flat. And again, you got the option to do that at a lower resolution, 144 hertz. And I'm a big fan of options, having the options to do that if you wanted to. The quantum dot technology, it did seem to make a little difference in darker scenes when I played Doom, but again, it was negligible. And I did tweak both monitors to my liking. Pretty much, I just turned the color up on the Samsung about 10 notches for the red, green, and blue to kind of get it to where I liked it. But overall, the picture quality, for the most part, is about the same. I mean, literally, I had them side by side. I couldn't really tell the difference. But again, just the choice and that price difference of $300 is the deal breaker for me. Like, if this monitor was say $100 more, I would keep it. I'd be sending that back. Even with this line, I would replace this monitor and keep it at $100. $150, but $300 I just can't justify it for me. And they're both good monitors. Whichever one you get, I know you will love both of them. And fortunately, I'm in the United States, and I just bought a second one of the microboards off Amazon for $729. So overall, if I had to give them a letter grade, or let's do a score of 1 to 100, I would give the microboard about a 89, and I'll give the Samsung about an 85. So if you split, if this was in the same price point as that, this would be a 90. But so that's kind of my thoughts, guys, and I hope this is a little bit more in detail for you guys, and I'll get better as I do more videos. Appreciate you guys. Peace.